0712, Villers-Bocage, Normandy. A low mist clings to the sunken lanes like breath on glass. Inside Tiger 212, SS Hauptsturmführer Michael Wittmann wipes condensation from the commander's cupola, squints through the scissors periscope, and laughs. Not a polite chuckle. A full-throated, steel-rattling laugh that makes his gunner, Balthazar Wohl, grin beneath the black Panzer beret. "There," Wittmann says, voice calm as Sunday Mass, finger stabbing the glass. "Ronson lighters, whole column of them." Through the haze, olive-drab M4 Shermans crawling nose to tail along the Caen road, turrets swiveling like nervous turtles. British Cromwell flank guards. Easy meat. Wohl racks the 80 Bellini KWK-36. The breech clangs like a church bell. "Range? 800 meters in closing, Herr Hauptsturmführer. They haven't even seen us." Wittmann's laugh fades into something colder. He remembers Kursk, remembers Shermans bursting like petrol-soaked rags under his old Tiger's muzzle. These new ones look no different. Same thin skin, same coffin turret. He thumbs the intercom. "Driver, advance to the hedge line. Slowly. Let them come to us." The 56-ton beast growls forward, hedgerow thorns scraping the shirts and side skirts. Somewhere behind, the rest of Schweer SS Panzerabteilung 101 wait in ambush. 4 more Tigers, a pair of Panzer IVs, the morning theirs to butcher. Wittmann allows himself one more smirk. "Light one up, Wohl. Show the Tommies how we welcome guests." The gun roars. A single orange bloom erupts on the lead Sherman's glacis. Secondary explosion. Ammunition cooks off in white starbursts. Crewmen bail out. Uniforms on fire, rolling in the dew-wet grass. Radio chatter erupts across the British net. Panicked voices. Coordinates. Someone screaming for the Fireflies. Wittmann doesn't hear it. He's already traversing on to the next target. Another laugh. Another kill. The bocage smells of diesel and wet earth and victory. But 200 yards east, behind a shattered stone wall, Sergeant Gordon Gordy, McLean of the 4th County of London Yeomanry, thumbs the safety off his 17-pounder. His Firefly, nicknamed Velikiya Luki after some frozen Russian hellhole, sits hull down, long barrel steady as a sniper's breath. McLean whispers to his gunner, Trooper Joe Ekins, 21 years old, hands trembling only slightly. "Hold for the Tiger, the big one, the one that thinks it's God." The morning is still young, and somewhere in the smoke, the laughter is about to choke. 7:19. The road is a graveyard of burning steel. Wittmann's Tiger prowls the lane like a cathedral on tracks, turret slewing with lazy arrogance. 4 Shermans down. A Cromwell flips end over end, turret blown clean into the next field. British infantry scatter into the ditches, Sten guns forgotten. Inside 212, the air is thick with cordite and sweat. Loader Karl-Heinz Warmbrunn slams another 88mm shell home. PSGR 39 armor-piercing capped. The brass casing clinks into the catch bag. "Next," Wittmann says, voice flat now. The laughter is gone. This is work. Wohl calls the range. 700, fire. The muzzle flash lights the hedgerow white. A Firefly, ordinary Sherman hull, but that long thin barrel takes the hit center mass. The round punches through, detonates inside. The turret lifts 6 inches, then drops crooked. No secondary, just silence. Wittmann nods. Good. But then, a flicker. East. Stone wall. Muzzle flash like a camera bulb. The world tilts. A hammer blow slams Tiger 212's right flank. Not the clang of a 75mm. Something sharper, deeper. The entire hull shudders. Alarms howl. The intercom screams in German and static. Wohl's head snaps around. "Treffer, side armor, penetrated." Wittmann grabs the cupola rim. "Where?" "Firefly, 1 o'clock, hull down, 1 on 200 meters. "Impossible. No Sherman gun reaches that far, not through 100mm of rolled homogeneous at that angle." Another flash. The second round screams in low, skims the shirts and punches the track guard. Spaulding sprays the fighting compartment like hornets. Warmbrunn screams, clutching his face. Blood on the breech. Wittmann's mind races. Firefly. 17-pounder. Sabot round. The British have been hiding them. He slams the override. Driver, reverse! Into the orchard now. The Maybach engine roars. Tracks spin. Mud flies, but the Tiger is wounded. The right track snaps with a sound like a breaking spine. 212 slews sideways, exposing the thinner rear armor. McLean's voice, calm as tea. On the Tiger. Traverse left. Steady. Fire. Akins pulls the trigger. The Sabot round, tungsten core 3,800 feet per second, leaves the muzzle in a blink. It punches through the engine deck, severs the fuel line, ignites the oil. Inside, fire blooms. Whitman claws for the hatch. The escape drill, cupola, leap, roll. But the flames are faster. The Tiger brews up. Ammunition detonates in a chain of white flashes. The turret blows skyward, lands upside down in the lane. Silence. Then, British voices. Cautious. Closer. McLean steps from the Firefly, pipe clenched in teeth. He stares at the smoking hulk. Bloody hell, he mutters. That's Whitman. The bocage smells of burning rubber and pork, and somewhere in the smoke the laughter is ash. 7:27. The lane is quiet now, save for the crackle of flames and the distant thud of artillery. Trooper Joe Ekins stands atop Vilikialuki, binoculars pressed to his eyes. He counts the wrecks, 5 Tigers, 3 Panzer Foos, a dozen half-tracks. All still. All his. 4 shots, 4 kills. The 5th round cooked off in the breach when the Tiger brewed. McLean claps him on the shoulder. You just wrote your name in the book, lad. Ekins doesn't answer. He's staring at the command Tiger, 212. Its turret ring a jagged mouth. A gloved hand still grips the cupola rim, charred black. Michael Whitman, the Black Baron. 138 tanks claimed from France to Russia. Knight's Cross with oak leaves, swords, diamonds. The man who held the gates at Kursk when the Red Army threw 1,000 T-34s at him and walked away laughing. Now just meat in a steel coffin. Cut to memory, July 12, 1943. Prokhorovka. The sun a white coin above the steppe. Wittmann, then an SS Obersturmführer, sits in Tiger 133, hull down on the reverse slope. Soviet steel floods the horizon. T-34s in waves, KV-1s lumbering like drunk bears. He waits. Lets them close to 500 meters. Then the 88 speaks. 1 shot, 1 kill. Again. In 90 minutes, 22 T-34s, 7 Su-85s, 2 field guns. His crew sings Panzerlied over the intercom. Berlin radios congratulations. Goebbels prints posters. Wittmann, Panzer Ace. Fast forward. November 43, Zhytomyr, snow up to the tracks. He bags a dozen more, including an IS-2 that shrugs off 3 hits before the 4th finds the turret ring. By spring 1944, Schweer SS Panzerabteilung 101 is his personal hunting ground. The Allies whisper his name like a curse. Intelligence briefs mark his Tiger with a black skull. He believes it. Believes the Tiger is invincible. Believes the Reich's steel is thicker than any enemy shell. Believes the war will turn the moment Germany unleashes the Panther OSF. F, the Mouse, the V3. He believes it right up to the moment the Sabot round turns his world orange. Back in the bocage, a British war correspondent snaps a photo. Ekins, baby-faced, leaning against the Firefly's barrel. Caption will read, "The lad who killed the Tiger King." But the ledger isn't balanced yet, because Whitman's death isn't the end. It's the signal. Across Normandy, every hedgerow, every orchard, every sunken lane, Allied crews hear the story over the BBC. Fireflies roll off the landing ships by the hundreds. Sabot rounds stack like cordwood. German radio nets go frantic. Achtung, Firefly in sector, range unknown. Panzer commanders start counting muzzles before they count Shermans. The laughter is gone, and in the ruins of Villers-Bocage, the bocage itself seems to exhale. 1 myth down. 1,000 more to break. 07:45. A runner sprints the lane, boots splashing through blood-warm puddles. He carries a single sheet of flimsy. Whitman confirmed KIA. Villers Bocage secured. 5 Tigers destroyed by 17 PDR Firefly. The note reaches 7th Armored Division HQ in a commandeered Norman farmhouse. A red-haired major pins it to the map with a bayonet. Smiles don't come often in Normandy, but this one does. Word races along field telephone wires, jumps to BBC shortwave, crackles into every Sherman turret from Sword Beach to St. Lo. Inside a landing craft still wallowing off Gold Beach, Lieutenant David Render of the Sherwood Rangers Yeomanry hears the broadcast and slams the turret roof. That's our cue, lads, the Tiger Whisperer's gone quiet. Render's Firefly, hull number T267890, christened Carol, rides the swell with 20 sister ships. Each packs the 17-pounder, each loader drills the same mantra: Sabo first, he second, never miss. By dusk, 144 Fireflies have disembarked. More follow. The docks at Courcelles echo with the clang of tungsten cores sliding into crates stamped APDS, handle like eggs. Cut to a moonlit rail yard outside Liverpool 3 nights earlier. Crates marked agricultural machinery unload under blackout lamps. Inside, sabot rounds cast in Sheffield steel, machined to tolerances finer than a watchmaker's. A foreman signs the manifest. 12,000 rounds, priority 1, Normandy. The math is brutal. 1 Firefly per 4 Shermans, 1 sabot per Tiger. The ratio that once favored Germany 10-1 now tilts the other way. Back in the Bocage, Trooper Ekins is famous before breakfast. A war artist sketches him cleaning the bore with a rag that still smells of burnt cordite. The caption will read, "The 2,000,000 shot." But fame is fleeting, because the hedgerows are still crawling with cats. Panther Ossif, Geus lurk in orchards south of Caumont. Jagd Panzer IVs squat behind stone barns. Every German crew now carries a new order taped inside the turret. Firefly, TRAS, priority target. Engage at maximum range. The hunter has become the hunted, and the Bocage is about to drink deeper. 14th of June, 1944, Oro 4:30, moonless. The Normandy night smells of apple blossom and high explosive. Lieutenant David Render's Firefly, Carol, idles behind a shattered cider barn near Point 102. Engine off, crew silent. Only the soft tick of cooling metal and the distant low of a wounded cow. Render S map is a butcher S bill, red X S for Whitman, S graveyard, blue arrows for the next push. Intelligence says Panzer Lehr Division is counterattacking at dawn. Panthers fresh from the factory. Crews cocky with new optics. Render whispers into the throat mic. Gunner, traverse right, orchard edge. Wait for first light. Trooper Ken Smith, loader, thumbs a sabot round. The tungsten core glints like a shark's tooth. 1 shot, 1 cat, sir. Across the field, Oberleutnant Hans Dietrich crouches in Panther 421. He's 24, University of Heidelberg, believes in the final victory. His gunner, Gefreiter Müller, peers through the Zeiss TZF 12A. Shermans at 1,800 meters, Müller reports. Standard 75's easy. Dietrich smiles. Wait till they close, then we gut them. But the hedgerow hides a secret. 0447, first pale light. Carol's long barrel lifts a fraction. Smith spots the thermal bloom of Panther exhaust. Target, Panther, 1,200 yards, frontal turret. Render, fire. The 17-pounder cracks like God's own whip. The sabot round covers the distance in 0.8 seconds. It strikes the Panther's gun mantlet, punches through 140 millimeters of sloped steel, ricochets down into the fighting compartment. Miller never finishes his sentence. The Panther bruise. Secondary blasts rip the side hatches. Dietrich stumbles out, uniform smoldering, staring at the hole where his invincibility used to be. 1 kilometer south, another Firefly, Boadicea, bags a Jagd Panzer at 1,400 yards. The casemate hunter becomes the hunted. By 06 Maurer's Panzer Lehr reports 8 Panthers lost, no Shermans touched. The counterattack stalls before it starts. German radio nets fracture. Feuerfliege überall, Abstand halten. Fireflies everywhere. Keep distance. But distance is death in the Bocage. The hedgerows are too thick, the lanes too narrow. Every corner is a trap. And the Allies have learned the Tiger's lesson. One shot, one kill. The laughter is buried with Bittman. Now it's the Germans who count muzzles, and the count is running out. 20th July 1944, Operation Goodwood. The Caen Plain erupts. Over 1,000 British tanks surge east of the Orne. Fireflies ride shotgun, one in every troop. Long barrels hungry. Montgomery's voice crackles over the BBC. We shall crack about like a sledgehammer. The sledgehammer has a tungsten edge. Near Cagney, Major Hans Siegel commands what's left of 21. Panzer Division's heavy company, 3 Tigers, 4 Panthers, cruise on their 3rd day without sleep. Siegel watches the horizon fill with dust. Shermans, hundreds, wait for the fireflies. His gunner spots the first long barrel at 1,600 meters. Too far. Siegel, hold. But the fireflies don't wait. A single sabot arcs across the wheat. Tiger 009 takes it through the driver's visor. The driver, Unteroffizier Klaus, never sees it coming. Another Tiger swings its turret. Too slow. A second sabot punches the engine deck. Brew up. Siegel's Panther backs into a bomb crater. He screams into the radio, Fall back! Fall back to the Bourguebus Ridge! But there is no ridge left. By noon 21. Panzer reports 27 tanks lost, 19 to 17-pounders. The ridge is a graveyard of cats. That night, a German staff officer in Paris wires Berlin. Firefly ratio now 1.3 in some sectors. Recommend immediate withdrawal behind the Seine. Hitler reads the dispatch, slams the table. Cowardice. But the numbers don't lie. August. The Falaise pocket closes. Fireflies prowl the roads like wolves. Panthers abandon fuel Bowsers to escape. Crews torch their own tanks rather than let them fall into Allied hands. A captured Panzer Grenadier, hands trembling, tells a British interrogator, We called them Teufelsröhre, devil pipes. You couldn't see them until the flash, then it was over. By September, the Allies cross the Seine with 400 Fireflies in the spearhead. The Bocage is behind them. Ahead, the Siegfried Line. And every German crew now knows the laugh is on them. 24th of March, 1945. 03.17. The Rhine is black glass under a bomber's moon. Operation Plunder, Montgomery's final push. On the west bank, Captain Robert Boscawen, scar across his cheek from Villers-Bocage, stands atop Firefly Aquila, 17-pounder elevated for indirect fire. The barrel glows faintly from test rounds. Below, Buffalo amphibians churn the current. Each carries a Firefly troop, 4 Shermans, 1 long-barrel killer. Boscawen thumbs the mic. All stations green 1. Cross on my mark. First objective, Wessel Rail Bridge. Fireflies priority, Panthers on the far bank. Intelligence says 116. Panzer Division is dug in with King Tigers. 88mm KWK-43s. Range, 2,500 meters. Boscawen smiles. Let's see how they like Sabot at 2,000. The first Buffalo hits the east bank at 0341. Ramp drops. Aquila roars out, mud flying. Straight ahead, a railway embankment. Muzzle flashes. A King Tiger, hull down, turret traversing. Boscawen. Gunner, target King Tiger, 1,900 meters. Sabot, fire. The 17-pounder barks. The round arcs, drops, punches the King Tiger's lower glacis at a 30-degree angle. Penetration, turret crew vaporized. The 68-ton monster rolls backward, track spinning air. Another King Tiger fires. The shell screams overhead, detonates in the river. Boscawen's loader, Corporal Ted Grimes, slams home the next sabot. Up. Fire, second King Tiger brews. By 04:15, 6 Fireflies are ashore. 4 King Tigers burn. The embankment is British. German radio. Engelröhre am Ostufer. Rückzug. Angel pipes on the east bank. Retreat. The phrase spreads like plague. From Wessel to the Ruhr, Fireflies hunt in packs. 1 troop bags a Jagdtiger at 2,100 yards. Longest confirmed kill of the war. April, Remagen Bridgehead. A Firefly named Cuckoo knocks out 3 Panthers in 30 seconds, using a church steeple as a sniper's nest. Berlin hears the reports. Hitler orders every 80mm flak gun to the front. Too late. By 25 April, fireflies roll through the Reichswald. Crews paint kill rings on the barrels. Some reach 30. In a ditch near Hamburg, a teenage Volkssturm boy stares at a sabot round embedded in a tree. He asks his sergeant, "Is this the end?" The sergeant, missing an arm from Normandy, lights a cigarette with shaking hands. "Yes, kid. The laughter stopped a long time ago." May 8, 1945. 23-1. Reims, France. Red brick schoolhouse. The air smells of ink and surrender. General Alfred Jodl sits at a scarred oak table, pen trembling above the document. His eyes, red-rimmed, hollow, flick to the map on the wall. Red arrows everywhere. Firefly kill tallies scribbled in the margins by some junior officer who couldn't believe it. He signs. Unconditional. Cut to a muddy crossroads near Lüneburg Heath. Firefly Velikiye Luki, Sergeant McLean's old mount, now with Eakins commanding, idles beside a white flag. Eakins leans from the cupola, pipe unlit. He watches a column of German prisoners shuffle past. Panther crews, faces gaunt, eyes down. One carries a rucksack stuffed with surrender leaflets. A Wehrmacht captain halts before the Firefly. He stares at the long barrel, scarred from 100 brews. "That one?" he asks in broken English, pointing. Eakins nods. Wittmann's Tiger. First kill. The captain's laugh is bitter, hollow. "We called you Ronson lighters, then the devil pipes came." He salutes, not to Eakins but to the gun, and walks on. Behind him, 1.5 million Germans lay down arms. The panzer divisions, once 6,000 strong, are ghosts. 4,200 destroyed in Normandy alone. Fireflies claim 1,800 confirmed. Back in England, a Sheffield foundry shuts down the sabot line. The foreman, the one who signed the 12,000-round manifest, pours the last tungsten core into a trophy vase. In Biggin Hill hangars, mechanics polish the 17-pounders one final time. Brass plaques read, "Bocage to Berlin." Trooper Joe Ekins gets the Victoria Cross, pinned by the king himself. He's 22 now, but his eyes carry Villers bocage. McLean retires to a pub in Kent, tells the story once a year on June 13th, ends the same way. One shot, changed everything. And in a Berlin bunker long sealed, a faded photo survives. Wittmann in Tiger 212 grinning at Kursk. The caption in his hand, "Unbesiegbar," unbeatable. The bocage proved otherwise. What began with laughter in the mist ended in silence across a continent. One firefly, one sabot round. The turning point no one saw coming. The myth that died at 1,200 yards.